First day back from the bye week, Buck. Was it one of those bye weeks that your team needed, do you think? Or how did you go about it?
Well, I think every bye week is needed in its own way. It's an opportunity for them to, mentally, decompress a little bit, physically get themselves right, and they're pros, right? So the bye week's beneficial in a lot of ways. It allows them to kind of get the things that they need, mentally and physically, to be ready to come back. And I thought the energy was really good. I said this to the guys this morning. It always feels good when you get back out here and you get the guys, together. And we're excited to go play a good football team again.
How much do you think the final game before the bye week still sits with these guys? Do you want it to sit with them, or do you want them to let it go?
Well, like I said at the end of practice today, the past is what you make of it, right? I mean, the good teams and the good players view it as lessons that you learn, but you don't dwell on things either. There's an understanding that we need to be better, and that's a common theme, regardless of the result. And I think a lot of times, you can, look at the result and become overwhelmed at, searching for answers. But the answers are simple. You look at the tape and you assess what things need to be fixed, and you go about, fixing those things. So, like I said, I thought, our mindset was good today, good energy. And the guys are excited to be back, practicing together.
Short work week for you guys, short work week for them as well. Do you try to throw a lot at them come Thursday to confuse Hamilton, or how do you go about doing that on a short week?
Well, it's you can say, short week and stuff. We were able to get some work in over the bye. We were able to do some things and get some guys together. One game in between, we just played them. So you focus on, the things you did well, and, you look at the things that you need to improve on. Yeah. In the CFL, when you play teams back to back, or you play teams, with quick turnarounds, you always want to look at yourself and, see the things that you can maybe tweak or, possibly do a little bit better. But you also, want to put your best foot forward and understand, the margins of, winning at this level are very slim. And, we got to be able to, make plays when, plays are, able to be made at those key times. And, that's what it boils down to. So a lot of self-reflection, looking at, how we can get better, and then, execute against a very good opponent.
Do you think your football team's at a point where they know that, okay, if our offense puts this many points on the board, we need to do a better job defensively to win this football game?
I think you're always looking to play, complementary football. Every game's going to be different. Every game's going to be different. So, you want to be able to, no matter the circumstance, no matter, the situation, you go out there and execute your assignments, and you play well for each other, no matter, what the score is. Offense, we take the field with a mindset of, getting first downs and, finishing drives in the end zone. And, that doesn't change. Defensively is, playing as a unit, being consistent, making sure we're communicating, and, getting after the quarterback, making sure we're taking the ball away and getting the team off the field.
How hard is it to convince guys when you get down to that last part of the game, maybe they're playing a little bit soft, a little bit off? How hard is it to convince guys, if you do that too much, what happened is going to happen? Like, hard is it to convince guys to play up?
Well, you see on the tape, right? I mean, it's all, it's a mixture of, being in that situation, and how you react to those situations. Like I said, it's how you respond and learn from those, and, grow through those lessons. They're tough lessons to learn, but every team goes through those type of things. But it's important that we address it, and we talk about it, and we execute better the next time that we're in those situations, right? So, no difference than any phase of the game, offense or special teams. There's certain situations in the game where you need to execute better, and you know certain games come down to the end like that one did. But there's also moments within the game, leading up to that moment that we all got to be better for each other.